How far would a mother go to protect her child? And what if that child carried within her a secret, one not even she fully understood? In a world where cruelty hides behind authority and innocence is mistaken for insolence, the bond between a mother and daughter is about to be tested. But this isn't just any mother, and this isn't just any child. This is the story of a girl born of water and magic, and the storm that comes when you dare to harm a mermaid's daughter. Amoka was the kind of child who carried light wherever she went. Bright, gentle, and thoughtful beyond her years, she had a thirst for knowledge that made her teachers marvel, except for one, and that one would become the thorn in her innocent world. She came home that afternoon with dust on her skirt and pain etched into her arms. The cane's mark, fresh and angry, told a story of humiliation too deep for words. Her tears had dried by the time she reached the door of their small but tidy home. But her heart was still drowning. "Mommy!" Her voice trembled as she stepped into the living room. Her mother, Ifoma, looked up from her book with mild annoyance. "What is it, Amoka?" Amoka fell to her knees beside her mother's couch, the weight of her anguish finally breaking free. "Mrs. Ajayi beat me again," she whispered. "She made me kneel outside because I answered a question her daughter couldn't." The class laughed. They always laugh. Ifoma frowned, not in concern, at least not outwardly. "Amoka, how many times have I told you? Stop provoking your teacher." "But I didn't do anything wrong." "That's what you always say. Focus on your studies. Life isn't fair, and not everyone will like you." End of discussion. Amoka stood slowly, the rejection more painful than the lashes. In her room, she sat on her bed, hugging her math textbook like a lifeline. The fading sunlight cast long shadows, and in them, she whispered, "Why doesn't anyone believe me?" What Ifoma didn't reveal was that something in her daughter's words struck a chord she had long buried. She hadn't forgotten what she was. She couldn't. Her blood held secrets, the kind people feared, the kind kingdoms once hunted. For years, she had tried to forget, to be ordinary, to protect Amoka from the truth. But sometimes, silence feeds the fire it was meant to extinguish. The next day brought no relief. The school gates loomed like prison bars. Amoka forced herself forward, head down, spirit battered. The classroom, a war zone. And her teacher? The warden. "Why are you late?" Mrs. Ajayi snapped. "I'm not late. Kneel." As she dropped to her knees, shame wrapped around her like chains. Her classmates watched in silence. No one dared to help. No one spoke up. Mrs. Ajayi made sure of that. By break time, Amoka stayed behind, afraid of more ridicule. But Grace, Mrs. Ajayi's daughter, wasn't done with her. "You think you're so smart, huh?" Grace hissed, knocking over Amoka's lunchbox. "Stay away from my mother's spotlight." Amoka clenched her fists. She didn't retaliate, not because she was weak, but because she was strong. Stronger than even she knew. That night, Ifoma couldn't sleep. The guilt was gnawing now. Something about her daughter's suffering had awakened a storm deep inside her. Memories of her past, of oceans, of scales, of song, rushed back. She had promised herself she'd never go back to that life. But Amoka's tears had changed everything. The next morning, she told Amoka, "I'm coming to your school today." The child froze. "Really?" "Yes, I want to speak to your teacher." Hope flickered in Amoka's eyes, but she quickly dimmed it. Hope was dangerous when it had been denied so many times. At school, Ifoma walked in like a wave that refused to be ignored. She found Mrs. Ajayi mid-lesson and interrupted without apology. I'm Amoka's mother. I'd like a word. Mrs. Ajayi scoffed. You can wait until after school. I'm afraid I can't. In the hallway, the confrontation began. My daughter tells me she's been punished and humiliated unfairly, that you single her out. She disrespects authority. She's quiet, brilliant, the top of her class. Or is that the problem? That she outshines your daughter? Mrs. Ajayi flinched. Like mother, like daughter, she spat. Ifoma stepped closer, her voice low and cold. Touch my child again, and I'll make sure this school becomes the least of your problems. Something in her tone, something primal and vast, made even Mrs. Ajayi pause. But the battle wasn't over. The next day, Mrs. Ajayi summoned Amoka to the front of the class. You think you're better than everyone else, don't you? Kneel! Amoka dropped to her knees, trying not to cry. But the classroom door burst open. What is going on here? It was Ifoma. The students froze. You've crossed the line, she said. And what are you going to do about it? Mrs. Ajayi mocked. That was when the storm broke. The air changed. The walls shivered. Ifoma's eyes shimmered like the sea under moonlight. Her skin glowed. Her form shifted. Her legs gave way to a powerful tail. Her voice echoed with a forgotten power. I am a mother, she thundered. And you will never harm my child again? Gasps filled the room as students scattered in awe and fear. Mrs. Ajayi fell to her knees. Please, please, I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't erase pain, Ifoma said, but I will give you one chance. If you ever harm her, or any child, again, you'll see the true depths of what I can do. With a flick of her tail, water surged from the floor, drenching Mrs. Ajayi, stripping away every ounce of her pride. And then, the magic faded. Ifoma stood tall in her human form, took Amoka's hand, and walked out. Outside, the sun glowed bright. The world felt lighter. Mommy, Amoka whispered, are you a mermaid? Ifoma smiled, brushing her daughter's hair back. Yes, and I will always protect you. For the first time, Amoka felt seen, loved, safe. But the lesson didn't end there. To the viewers watching this story unfold, ask yourself, when faced with injustice, how far would you go to protect the innocent? Would you suppress your truth or embrace it to defend what matters most? Let us know in the comments. And remember, sometimes the quietest child holds the most powerful legacy.